Hey, it's Christina from Come and Train It. Today I'm making a video about why dogs do the things that they do, going over reinforcement and how that affects their behavior and why they may not listen to you or why they will listen to you. So let's get into it. I have it all on a whiteboard and I will explain it as we go. Okay, an important part of understanding our dogs and understanding why they do the things they do is understanding that dogs are opportunists. So I have that written in big letters right here. They are opportunists, so that means they do things because they are reinforcing in some manner. And they will do what they can get away with because it is reinforcing. So I have that written right there. Dogs, I want to make an important distinction that dogs do not have a moral compass. They don't think in, I should do this for my owner because it would make them happy. I should just recall and come back because my owner provides food for me and is a great owner. So they don't think that way. So that helps us understand our dogs. So jumping on guess. Dogs do it because it's reinforcing for them, because they get attention and physical touch. That's why most dogs do it. So as long as they get attention and physical touch, they are receiving positive reinforcement and they will continue to do that behavior. Next example is your dog dragging you on the leash to meet another dog. So the dog pulls you, you follow, and the dog gets what he wants. He was rewarded, right? So he pulled, it worked, so he's going to do it again. So he's reinforced in that behavior and he will continue to do it. So we can use reinforcement to our advantage if we understand it a little bit. And that's how we train dogs, essentially. And it is important for owners to understand that whether you're aware of it or not, like these examples, you are training your dog for better or for worse. We use positive reinforcement to teach all of the behaviors first. It increases the likelihood of a behavior happening again. For example, I have a dog gets a treat for responding to come. So that was positive reinforcement for recalling to me. Throughout their training, as the dogs have a very thorough understanding of the commands, we start to layer in negative reinforcement. If reinforcement decreases the likelihood of a behavior happening. So my example here, the same scenario, I'm at a point where the dog understands come really well and I've layered in corrections for not responding. So if my dog does not respond to come, he's going to get a correction. The dog is reinforced both positively and negatively to respond to the come command. I have a really strong case for the dog wanting to come back to me. The reason that it's important to use both positive and negative reinforcement is that the positive reinforcement can make doing what I want the dog to do really fun and enjoyable. And the negative reinforcement creates reliability. So when the dog does not want to do this fun, enjoyable thing, I still reinforce that the dog has to listen to me with every command I give. So here's another example. I'm letting my dog run and there's a bunny rabbit that runs across the road. In this moment, my dog doesn't want a treat. He knows that I have the treat, but he doesn't want it because this bunny rabbit is overriding the value that my treat brings. So in this case, I still have negative reinforcement to enforce that the dog comes back to me instead of chasing the rabbit across the road. In both spectrums, we can enforce what we want from the dog, and that is the most reliable way to get behaviors that we need. That leads me to my next point, that if we cease to reinforce the behaviors that we want through positive or negative reinforcement, it doesn't matter. If you're not reinforcing them in any way, the dog is going to resort what it wants to do over time. So what do I mean by that? Let's go back to our example. So what if I took my e-collar off because the dog's been doing really well, which happens a lot and I don't recommend it. So my dog's been doing great. I decide, oh, what the heck, let me take this e-collar off. And I don't have any kind of reward with me either. And I ask the dog to come, and let's say he does, right? So he's real fresh off of training. He's been doing great. He's got this history of listening for the past few months. He's been doing really good. So of course, he's going to listen again, likely. So my dog's got no e-collar on, I don't have any kind of reward in any way, and I tell my dog to come, and he does. You know, depending on your dog, he might do great. But most dogs slowly will start to realize, well, there's no benefit to coming to you when I have to leave playing with another dog. There was no benefit and there was no consequence for not coming to you. So what you're going to have is a dog that slowly does not come when it's called. And then you're right back where you started. So that's what I mean by the dog is slowly going to resort to what it wants to do over time. How fast that happens is going to be different for other dogs, but that will happen. So overall, my message is to be aware of how your dog is being reinforced in what they do and to continue reinforcing them in the behaviors that you want them to perform, such as their obedience, such as coming when called. You need to be there to continually reinforce that those commands are followed through, or else you're going to have a dog that slowly doesn't listen to you because it is not reinforcing to listen to you, right? Because they are opportunists, because everything they do is because it has to be reinforcing for them in some manner. So that is my message. Dogs do not think in shoulds and woulds. They are not like humans in that way. They think very much in the immediate, what's the benefit right now? Or, what's the consequence? Anyways, that is my message to you guys. It's really good to be aware of this because when other issues pop up at home, you can ask yourself, why is this something my dog is doing? What is reinforcing about this? How can I make this less reinforcing for him to continue the behavior, or how can I reinforce them in doing something different that I do want instead? I'm Christina from Come and Train It. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us.